By now you should have heard about the Fantom wallet by AnsixDesign. In our prior reviews, I made mention about how lacking the wallet was by way of secondary features, carry features like for coins, IDs, keys, etc. And that you needed to spend a lot of money, more than I thought really, for a money clip, which didn't come by default with this. So I was very surprised when I saw not just one, but several accessory options for the Fantom R to help alleviate the loss of this functionality and, kind of feeling like you may have been shortchanged a little bit. So let's get into these. 4 of them here. Let's do it. I'm going to venture a good guess that none of these features that we'll show you in these accessories were afterthoughts, but were really part of this larger product extension strategy. How do I know? Well, it's pretty obvious. I didn't really seem to catch it. Right here, we have these screw points, and these were there from the very beginning of the design of this wallet and from the shipping, which means they really had in mind a lot of future accessories that they were going to include with this particular wallet. Now remember, these only work with the Fantom Model R. They do not work with the Model S. Now all of these accessories are designed in Canada, they're made in China, each has a 30-day money-back guarantee and limited lifetime warranty. You can really only have one of these accessories attached at any given time on your wallet, except for, well, let's see. Actually, you can have the money clip as well. So one of these accessories plus the money clip. So let's start looking at each of these individually. So we have 4 here, really quite good. We have the ID holder, the key holder, coin holder, and cash holder. There is one more that I didn't really feel was all that great, and so I'm just going with these 4 here, which I think is enough. There's a lot of these here because it was a silicon band, and we've all seen silicone bands, silicone, however you want to pronounce it, on wallets. And so we'll start with each of these. So let's start with the ID holder. Let's do that. Now if we get into this here, the ID holder, this is priced at $9, really great. It weighs 12 grams, which includes all the hardware that's part of this particular accessory. It's made from Lexan, which is very strong, very flexible. It's a transparent plastic, a polycarbonate really. It has a lot of high impact strength used for cockpit canopies, for example, bulletproof screens. So this is not going to fail very easily here as we look at this a little closer. Unlike the rest of the wallet, this does not have RFID. So it's the perfect spot to put your access card. Even though it says ID, you really can put an access card in there, whether it's a bus pass, a subway pass, hotel card, even a credit card you may use very often. Interestingly enough, a lot of credit cards, their numbers are on the back of the card now, so what is exposed on the front isn't really available for people to look at. So, all right, let's install this. Now this one is the easiest of the bunch to install, and granted they all only have 3 screws in them, but there are some other things you have to do there as well. What's really nice is that they all come with some sense of instruction, which is really great. There is no guesswork that you have to do with this particular accessory, or any of them for that matter, and they come with all of the hardware. So of course I had 3 screws in here and this little screwdriver. Really, really quite nice. If we look at the wallet itself, it may look weird because this sticks out right here from the wallet itself. And of course you have coins in here, your cards are still here, but you can see how this sticks out. Well, what makes this okay is we have cards that you will store in this wallet. We put them in. It's as easy as that. It slips in. Oh, looky here. Now we don't actually see that because these cards stick out already. So if you put let's say a tap card like this in, try that number and see if it works. It won't. You just grab your card or your ID, whatever it is at this point, and you can just slip it right in, and it's nice and tight. Notice the click, it is not coming out. Just like the cards here, this is not coming out. It is going to stay in there nice and tight. And one of the things to remember is that this clicks into place. Being able to remove this easily is not easy to do. You really have to get at it because it slides down here. Let me show you. So you have to kind of lift this to get this out. And you see here it click there. The way to get into this is you have to somewhat lift this bottom. And you do that just by kind of grabbing the top. And when you do, then it slides down. And then at that point, it's kind of like the cards we see here where they go in and they slide over to connect. Same thing here. You can see the outline where it fits. And with that, you just push it in and click. There you go. And it's in place. Great little accessory if you have a ID, like I said, or this is your work card to tap in. Awesome. Really, really like this. Okay, now let's move on to the cash holder. Again, 3 points of insertion here, the screws that were built into the R. Let's open this up. Of course, you have some great instructions on the back. Gives you an idea, cash, receipts, business cards, very thin in design, quick access, and of course only works with the Fantom R. There is the accessory. Here are the tools, of which this time we have a Allen wrench and different types of screws. They're not all the same. It depends on the application. And we have the instructions. Instructions, of course, are critical on these in particular, just so you know exactly what you're doing here. Comes in 3 colors: walnut, bamboo, and carbon fiber. Now, they didn't have the brown dot, which is what I have here, leather, which was great. It was what I got off Kickstarter. So on all of these accessories, I just have this carbon fiber. It looks really cool anyway. And if we look at the design, we can see how these tabs right here, these tabs are what press against the back of the wallet. And as you can guess, that's what provides that pressure when cash is put in there. So it keeps it in place. Well, now if you're like me, especially if you're a man, well, it could be anybody really, you only need instructions when something goes wrong. Otherwise, you know, every opportunity is an exercise in trying to demonstrate how smart you are and how you can solve problems. Now, looking back, I don't think that my calculated success is anywhere close to 100%. But anyway, let's put this together. Usage with cash is a little mixed in my opinion. Of course, you do have a full money clip that you can install with these screws here on the bottom that comes up on this side. So, you know, if you want to put something more cash, I guess, is something you can do. But I know a lot of people don't like to have their cash visible. Point is that you can just slide your cash in here, and those tabs on both sides actually keep the cash contained. Of course, this begins to poke out. But since we need to put cards in here to kind of compensate for it, we'll see if it actually works. Let's put the cards in. Again, they come into the bottom, they push to the top. Oh, looky here. Yeah, we have a lot of exposure of cash here, so folding once isn't going to be your best option. And now we're back to folding twice, which then the concern is how many pieces of cash can you actually get in here, because yeah, you know, you're really limited. So when this is really kind of pushing to get in here, of course you have this thumb push here to pull it out, and you can use that to kind of push it in, but it starts to affect the fold. So of course the preferred method is to fold your cash not at all, but the next best is to fold it at least once. I'd say at least, but really just once is if you can get away with it. And then you start getting into folding it in quarters, thirds, whatever your method is at that point. And I only had four slips of cash here, and you saw how difficult it was to fold it in thirds or fourths here, and to push it in. And it's just it's not really the best experience. So what do? Well, of course you can use other types of cards, business cards, receipts, because again we have the money clip in the back. So even though it is a cash holder, it says, I'm going to call it a card holder for lack of a better word. Things that do not fit in the main wallet here are things that you can put into this card holder here and work just fine. Additional cards you use most often, for example. It could be your ID. If you have more than one ID you need to use, that would be my suggestion. One final thought on the cash holder is if you do use it for additional cards, I wasn't able to get more than three. Three is probably the maximum you can get into here. All right, now let's look at the key holder. This key holder one is, the design is awesome on this. This is priced at $44. It weighs 36 grams, and of course includes the hardware, the screws in particular, but really it's 36 grams total. It's over here. It also comes in three colors: walnut, bamboo, and carbon fiber, of which, as I mentioned before, I chose the carbon fiber, and there is a lot more involved in this particular one. As is the case with all of their accessories, excellent instructions, and in this one, you notice it's a little bigger. I'll put it this way. There's quite a few things that we have to have involved here, which I'll note some of them. So again, we attach with screws, easy. Keys. The keys we put in here, there are spacers. If you had any kind of a key holder in your pocket before where you attach keys to it, it's very similar concept. And then there's a protective film. Well, where would the protective film go? Well, of course, it's going to go on your wallet because keys will be moving around on this and you don't want it to scratch up your wallet. We also have, as I mentioned, the protective film, the spacers, the screws, as well as the wrench we need for this. And of course, here is the accessory itself. Let's take a quick look at this. Designed a really clever way. So obviously keys push out here and you're going, ooh, what is that little snappiness? Well, on the back, we have little pieces of rubber here. And so as you move it out, of course, it snaps back. And that's awesome. Putting the key back, you've got to push it back in, but being able to extract it, push it out is something that happens here. So interestingly, you've got 1, 2, and 3 spots, posts for keys to go in, which is really quite cool. And each one of these has the mechanism to push them out. It's just a clever design. I don't know how you look at it any other way. Just kind of neat. So let's get this installed on the wallet. Notice, as you saw the sheen on that protective piece that went on here, nice plastic, not a big deal. Very good. Okay, I kind of jumped past to get through the other 2 keys. I was able to improve on the technique just a little bit. One thing that is missing here is it did not come with a screwdriver because there is a screwdriver required for this little screws that are in here in each of these posts. And so it came with the wrench necessary for the larger screws here, metal to metal, but we did not have that other one, so that, if you have a small screwdriver, great. If not, well then, a little bit of a thing to consider there. Now, if we look at the functionality of this really quick, again, we'll see how this works. So you push the keys in, so the keys hide themselves away right here, and that's how it fits onto the wallet. When you want your key, I'll show you from the inside here how it works. You grab the slider, you push it, and all of a sudden now you have the key available to you. You can pull it out. You've got a good range of motion here, so if you want to use it to get into a door, obviously, you can then push that back down. So now let's get this installed on the wallet. Again, the sheen of that protective cover, nice thinking there. We just set this on top, and once you're through all the grief of the keys, then this really becomes something easier to use and or to finish up. I really like the design of this in particular. If you use the key holder much and you decide to use the wallet just with no accessory, you will have this nice little sheen. Can you see that little nice little sheen going on there? Yeah, you'll have that, which might be okay for, because you might use the key more often. So now let's look at the coin holder. This one's a little involved, so we've left this for the last. It's priced at $34. It weighs 33 grams. It comes with the hardware. Well, we hope we have that experience with the key holder. And of course, they're so good to give us the instructions here. So let's take a look at those instructions and see what we have here. And like I said, this is a little involved, so we kind of left it towards the end. Woo, as you can see, this one has a lot going on with it. Here is that extension piece that we mentioned. That works with the upper lever. Again, hardware. If we get into the pieces themselves, this is a Tyvek, and it comes with 2 of them in case you need to, you screw up or something and need to do it more than once. and that will show how that fits. And then of course we have the extension piece itself, and it's very simple, but it all works in concert with the other pieces. So let's put it together. Wow, as I was pulling out the hardware, kind of getting ready to open up, I lost one of the screws, one of the smaller screws, and I'll show you. So I ended up attaching this, and I was not going to do that on camera. It is the fiddliest little thing. It took me, I don't know, probably 5 or more minutes just to try and get that sucker put in. It's not for the faint of heart. But one thing I didn't point out is that, again, from the beginning of the design of the Fantom R, there were 2 screws here as part of the lever. All right, let's get on to the rest of the install. Fine, I'll finish the accessory video. Wowzers, that was a ton of work, and you know what I realized as I was getting into it further is that this tip doesn't work with these screws. It is this end, and that's what works the best. So another thing that I kind of figured out towards the end is you can start these screws, and then you can get them down quite far on all of these, and then you can use this, and it's just 1 or 2 turns to tighten it. So that's really a time saver if you want to get this. Now, of course, now we're to the point where we can put some coins in here. It's a £1 coin, and it's pretty thick, and that seems to go in just fine. There you go. And so if you want to get them out, you just open it up, and away you go. This is a £1 or £2 coin, and away it goes. Works just fine. No issues there whatsoever. Very nice. We'll just put some more in there and be on your way. And of course, nothing makes this wallet more complete than by adding the cards in here so you can see how it functions together. So when you are extracting cards and you use this lever this way, make sure that you're doing it up and not down. Oh, whoopsie. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing a lot of that, but it's something to be aware of. So we'll collect all these little coins here, put them out of the way. I think we have them all out, and we have cards that we'll remove. Be mindful that you can also put in SD cards, SIM cards, keys. I mean, really, you can put anything in there that fits. And so there you go. As I mentioned at the beginning, I thought the original offering of the Model R was lacking, but they really had some forward-looking thinking that they put in place on this. And with these accessories, the Fantom R really stacks up against all other wallets really well that we reviewed. If you want to see what those are, go to walletopia.info/rankings to see what you think of how this sits. We'll see you in the next review. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Bye.